Hello, friends, and welcome to the Two for Tuesday podcast brought to you by Second Round Music. I'm your host, Michael Present, and today's focus is on a guy who very often gets overlooked, and to be honest, most don't even know who he is. And although his recorded output is very small, his impact on both country and rock and roll music was enormous. And we're talking about the grievous angel himself, Gram Parsons. Known as the father of country rock, Parsons preferred to call his creation cosmic American music. It's a blend of country, soul, gospel, rock, and folk, and it blurred genre lines. Now, he only lived to the age of 26, but his collaborations with the Byrds, the Flying Burrito Brothers, and Emmylou Harris, among others, left an indelible mark. We'll retrace his life, the highs and the heartbreaking lows, and we'll spotlight two defining songs, and two of my favorites, Hickory Wind and Sin City. And we'll do that just on the other side of this message.
Are you ready to take control of your finances and build a brighter future? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired, feeling broke all the time? My name is Michael Present, a certified master coach, and I created Second Round Financial to provide personalized financial coaching based on the proven principles of Dave Ramsey's 7 Baby Steps. Our services include, but are not limited to, one-on-one financial coaching through Zoom conference or face-to-face, budgeting strategies, debt reduction plans, emergency fund creation, retirement planning, and investment guidance. Well, why choose us? Because we believe in empowering our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to achieve financial peace. With our guidance, you'll gain clarity over your financial situation, develop a realistic and achievable plan, and experience hope and confidence in your financial future. I have over 15 years experience teaching and guiding families in the Ramsey principles, along with a degree in finance and work experience in the banking and insurance industries. So let's get started today. Go to secondroundfinancial.com and click Book Now to schedule your free consultation today.
Now, Gram Parsons was born Ingram Cecil Connor III. He was born in 1946 in Winter Haven, Florida. His family was wealthy. His grandfather was a citrus magnate who held extensive properties in Winter Haven and Waycross, Georgia. But tragedy defined Gram's youth. His parents were both alcoholics and suffered from depression. His father, a decorated World War II flying ace, died by suicide when Gram was just 12 years old. And his mother, Avis, who later married Robert Parsons, succumbed to alcoholism and died the very day Gram graduated from high school. Now, young Gram carried that grief with him the rest of his life. He briefly attended Harvard, but he left after one semester, choosing music over academia. At the age of 21, he began receiving $30,000 annually from a family trust. That's a lot of money in 1967, and would give him the financial freedom to pursue his art, but it also enabled him the excesses that would eventually take his life. Now, Gram developed a strong musical interest early in his life, particularly after seeing Elvis Presley perform in a concert in Waycross, Georgia in 1956. But his first serious project was with a band called the Shilohs. It was a folk group influenced by the Kingston Trio. And by 1966, he co-founded the International Submarine Band, moving to Los Angeles and signing with Lee Hazelwood of LHI Records. Now, they recorded Safe at Home, an album considered an early blueprint of country rock. It featured songs like Luxury Liner. Now, though the band dissolved before its release, Parsons' vision of blending honky-tonk with modern sounds had already begun taking shape. Now, in 1968, Gram joined the Byrds and was originally supposed to be the band's jazz pianist. But he would soon become a rhythm guitarist and a vocalist in the band. Now, Gram was never officially a member of the band. A quote from Chris Hillman, one of the founding members of the band, stated, "Gram was hired. He was not a member of the Byrds, ever. He was on salary. That was the only way we could get him to tune up." So Gram's influence on the Byrds truly started when he convinced Roger McGuinn and Hillman to go to Nashville to record a record. and the result was Sweetheart of the Rodeo, often cited as the birth of country rock. Now, the concept of this album was a brainchild of Roger McGuinn's. Now, he wanted to record an album that told the history of American popular music. It was to begin with bluegrass, then move through country and western, jazz, rhythm and blues, and rock music before ending with what he called electronic music. But by the time they got to Nashville, that idea had fallen apart, and it turned solely into a country project. So the recording of the album started on March 9th of 1968 at Columbia Records, and it was at their recording studio on Music Row in Nashville. But about halfway through the project, it moved back to Columbia's Hollywood studio, and the album would be completed by the end of May of 1968. Now, there's a story behind that move. So it goes that on March 15th, just days after starting the recording of the Sweethearts project, the Byrds were invited to appear at the Mother Church of Country Music, the Grand Ole Opry, and they were scheduled to perform two Merle Haggard covers, Sing Me Back Home and Life in Prison. And they played the first, but in lieu of the latter, they played Hickory Wind, and the Nashville establishment was none too happy. So due to the backlash, the band decided to finish the project in more friendly confines.
In South Carolina, there are many tall pines. I remember the oak trees that we used to climb.
Co-wrote Hickory Wind with former International Submarine Band bandmate Bob Buchanan on a train ride from Florida to California. And it's widely considered Gram's signature song. It expresses his longing for the South, his childhood innocence, and the ache of displacement. Johnny Rogan, in a book that he wrote called The Byrds, Timeless Flight Revisited, offers the following interpretation of the song. The alluring Hickory Wind serves as a powerful image of Parsons' bittersweet nostalgia, as he imagines a Edenic childhood of simple pleasures like climbing trees. During successive verses, he reflects on the pursuit of fame, the curse of wealth without spiritual satisfaction, and the perils of city life. And what really makes the song, however, is Parsons' aching vocal performance, set against a superb steel guitar backing, whose whining combines with his yearning voice to create a mood of unbearable poignancy. Now, recorded in Nashville with session greats Lloyd Green on the pedal steel and John Hartford on fiddle, Parsons sang lead and played rhythm guitar and piano on the final version, despite contract disputes that led to some of his vocals being erased. Now, more on that later. Byrds bandmate Chris Hillman would play bass, and Roger McGuinn played banjo, and Kevin Kelly played the drums. Now, another backstory, during post-production of the album, many of the lead vocals of Gram's was removed, and they were replaced by Roger McGuinn. The widely held theory was due to a legal dispute between Gram and Lee Hazelwood due to his contract with LHI Records. Now, album producer Gary Usher held a different belief. He stated that the changes were due to creative concerns that Gram held too much of the dominant presence on the project. Now, though Sweetheart was initially a commercial disappointment and Hickory Wind was never released as a single, it has become Parsons' signature song, and it would be re-recorded in 1974 on Gram's Grievous Angel album. Now, Gram would quit the Byrds that same year while touring in England, famously refusing to perform in South Africa, which was where the tour was headed next, in protest of apartheid. Now, Chris Hillman didn't believe Gram's reasoning. He believed that he just wanted to stay in England because during that time, he struck up a close friendship with Keith Richards and Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones. And Gram would actually move in with Keith and his then wife for a short period of time, where he reintroduced the Stones to country music.
And this old earthquake's gonna leave me in the poorhouse. Seems like this whole town's insane. And on the 31st floor, your gold-plated door won't keep out the Lord's burning rain.
So on returning back to Los Angeles, Gram looked up Chris Hillman, and they both formed the Flying Burrito Brothers, along with bassist Chris Etheridge and pedal steel player Sneaky Pete Kleinow. Their 1969 debut, The Gilded Palace of Sin, was revolutionary. Psychedelic country rock dressed in rhinestone nudie suits and embroidered with marijuana leaves and pills. It was a modernized variant of the Bakersfield sound that we recently talked about and what Gram had envisioned. Now, Sin City was written by Parsons and Hillman, and it portrayed Los Angeles as a modern-day Babylon, corrupt, dangerous, yet irresistible. With its biblical imagery, the song warned of destruction and moral collapse. It's been said that this song was influenced by the music of country music legends, the Louvin Brothers. The song is a slow, mournful, hymn-like tune, with Sneaky Pete's pedal steel crying behind Parsons' vulnerable voice. And it felt like both a sermon and a lament. Sin City was recorded during the Gilded Palace of Sin sessions at A&M Studios in Hollywood, and the track reflected the band's gospel and soul influences as much as honky-tonk traditions. The song had a couple of interesting references. The lyric, "A Gold-Plated Door," was a reference to the Byrds' manager, Larry Spector, and the lyric, "Tried to Clean Up This Town," was a reference to Robert F. Kennedy. Now, the album was a flop commercially, but Sin City became one of Parsons' defining works, and it's been covered by Emmylou Harris, Beck, Dwight Yoakam, and Uncle Tupelo, securing its place in American music history. And the album's influence is far-reaching. It's influenced the likes of the Eagles, traditional country stars Clint Black, Steve Earle, Vince Gill, Emmylou Harris, Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Travis Tritt, and Dwight Yoakam, who covered the song with K.D. Lang on his Just Looking for a Hit album back in 1989. So to be honest, the version of this song that you'll hear me play is a mix of the Burrito Brothers and Dwight. Structurally, it's like Gram's version. Verse, chorus, instrumental, break, verse, chorus, tag. But now vocally, my version will sound a lot more like Dwight's than it will Gram's. So though a brilliant artist, Gram's time with the Burrito Brothers was plagued by drug use, poor touring, and commercial disappointment. And by 1970, he left the group on a mutual agreement with Hillman. Now, after failed attempts at solo work and a turbulent stint living with the Stones' Keith Richards, Parsons finally found stability with Emmylou Harris in 1972. The two met while Gram was playing a one-off concert with his old band, the Flying Burrito Brothers, in Washington, D.C. Now, together, they recorded GP in 1973 and Grievous Angel in 1974. And these albums featured several members of Elvis's TCB band, and they blended honky-tonk tradition with aching harmonies from Emmylou. And in my opinion, this is her strength as a vocalist. Though neither sold well, the records are now hailed as masterpieces of country rock. Harris's career would soar afterwards, and she's called Parsons her greatest musical influence. But in September of 1973, after finishing Grievous Angel, Gram went to Joshua Tree National Monument, his favorite desert retreat located in southeastern California. So about a month from starting another tour, he decided to go on a recuperative excursion with a few friends. So while they were there, he overdosed on morphine and alcohol and died September 19th, 1973. Again, he was just 26 years old. In one of rock's strangest stories, his friend Phil Kaufman and another friend stole a hearse and Parsons' body in an attempt to cremate him at Joshua Tree's Cat Rock parking lot to honor Gram's final wishes. So they poured gasoline on his coffin and they lit it, which also created a huge fireball. Now, they were arrested and fined, and Gram's remains would be buried in a cemetery in Louisiana. So this bizarre event would continue to cement Parsons' mythic legacy.
Hey guys, thank you for listening today, and I hope you're enjoying this podcast. If you are, please subscribe or follow the podcast, click the like button, share it with other music lovers, and please consider giving it a 5-star rating so we can reach a bigger audience. Now back to the show.
Now, though Gram Parsons never found mainstream success, his vision transformed American music. He influenced the Eagles, Linda Ronstadt, Wilco, Uncle Tupelo, and generations of Americana artists. Emmylou Harris honored him in songs like Boulder to Birmingham, and festivals such as Gram Fest and the Gram Parsons Guitar Pull continue to celebrate his work. As Keith Richards once put it, his recorded music output was pretty minimal, but his effect on country music is enormous, and that's why we're still talking about him today. So that's the story of Gram Parsons, visionary, restless soul, and architect of cosmic American music. From the haunting beauty of Hickory Wind to the apocalyptic power of Sin City, his songs speak across time. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to or follow the 2 for Tuesday podcast. And remember, we love you and we need you. And sometimes the most influential artists are the ones who burn the brightest and the shortest. Now we'll see you next week, and God bless you.